Children, I'm gonna sing it on the dance really admire them. Smallness is still on their mind. Smallness is a good time. Never had some little children. I'm gonna sing it on the dance really admire them. Yes, they're singing. Ching, ching, ching. See for mama, the 10 fat chickens. I asked you for one, and she won't give me one. You see that girl named Dorothy? She fat like a butter, and she muggle like a chow. Oh, smallness is still on my mind. Smallness is a good time. Never had some little children. I'm gonna sing it and that's really admire them. What they're singing? On your carpet, you must be like roses. All you need, bright and shining. You must be, and show me the one. Love the best. When I marry, I give you the ring. First the girl, second the boys. Sunday, Monday, afternoon. We will spend our honeymoon. Oh, smallness is still on my mind. Smallness is a good time. Never had some little children. I'm gonna sing it and that's really admire them. Join the singing. Hold my house on fire. He hold my run away. He run for the police to get the water. He hold the fire down there. Escalated, shoot, shoot, shoot. Escalated, shoot, shoot, shoot. And I wipes the lady face. The lady wipes the lady face. And she fell down, and she fell down, and she fell in the ocean too. Oh, smallness is still on my mind. Smallness is a good time. Never had some little children. I'm really singing and the dancers really admire them. Hear them singing? Children, children, yes, mama. Where you been? Grandmama. What she give you? Bread and cheese. Where is mine? On the shelf. How me go get up? I'm on the chair. Suppose the man. Be not gay. Bad picnic. Be not gay. Wicked picnic. Be not gay. Oh, smallness is still on the mind. Smallness is a good time. Never had some little children. I'm gonna sing it and the dancers really admire them. I'm gonna sing it and the dancers really admire them. I'm gonna sing it. She fat like a butter, and she muggle like a chow. Oh, smallness is still on my mind. Smallness is a good time. Never had some little children. I'm gonna sing it and the dancers really admire them. What they're singing? On your carpet, you must be like roses. All you need, bright and shining. You must be, and show me the one. Love the best. When I marry, I give you the ring. First the girl, second the boys. Sunday, Monday, afternoon. We will spend our honeymoon. Oh, smallness is still on my mind. Smallness is a good time.
So, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you, so call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
Well, good evening. It's 4 minutes after 9 o'clock. We're now getting started. Um, no sense we complain about anything. I'm not here to complain about anything, right? I'm not here to say, oh, it's raining heavily, and it was. And then they have blackouts and they have all manner of things. And so uh, preventing us from broadcasting on the ground. So let us hope that that problem has been rectified. And I hope that the technical guys can send me a quick thumbs up that we are broadcasting on the ground via 107.1 FM. Because, we live in a country where people don't believe in boots on the ground to get what they want. They don't believe in boots on the ground to confront an oppressive political system. They are of the view that some fairy godmother or godfather will pop out of the sky, will pop out somewhere in Washington, will pop out somewhere in maybe Europe, I don't know where, to help them and to put boots on the ground for them. I don't know. I just don't know what's happening. But look at that boots. It is long overdue. And the boots is even laughing. I don't know if folks who are from the quarantine, they usually say when you go to school like that, your shoes mouth bust, it laughing, all manner of things. And as a little child, you take chewing gum and you paste it up, you take mud, all manner of things you have done, right? Those of you who understand the struggle know, you guys know that in any struggle, you don't sit and wait for better days to come. You chase better days. You go after better days. You make it happen. And especially when it comes to oppressors, political oppressors, you don't sit and wait for them to give you anything. You don't sit and demand anything from them. You stand up, you put boots on the ground, and you ensure that you get what you deserve as a people. And in any democracy, there is nothing wrong with boots on the ground. Absolutely nothing is wrong with boots on the ground. It is a legitimate form of it is your constitutional rights to do that. Look at when the coalition was in office. Every day, almost, every day, Afras Usman, you'll remember this, right? Every day the PPP had boots on the ground. I repeat, every day they had boots on the ground. Every day they were finding some reason to confront the coalition government. Whether it was a proper reason, whether it made sense or not, they were there confronting. They were there with boots on the ground. They were in front of office of the president. They were in front of wherever it is. They had boots on the ground. They had boots on their radio station, which is Freedom Radio, right, on Rob Street. They were confronting the coalition government from day one. They were not sitting down and pussyfooting around and expecting somebody to come and save them, or to expect somebody who whispered to them that, don't protest, I can help you go into government, right? Just sit down quietly, be a nice little politician, and I can ensure that next election you're going to go into office. All right? So find something to tell your supporters them why you do not believe in boots on the ground. Shh. Everybody stay quiet. Stay quiet. Boots on the ground is not effective. That is what some people are whispering to some people. Now I don't want to say who is some people. Who are those some people? And I don't want to say who they're whispering to. But since I'm not on camera and you guys can't see my facial expression, let me say it again. This is what is happening. Whilst we give you guys some time to share the link so that we can get started with our program, we have Lemon for a couple of minutes. We took him out of the studio. He wants to say something. God in heaven knows what Lemon wants to say. Lemon has to understand that he works here. He's not a talk show host, but every minute he wants to come on air. Well, I don't know what he wants to say, but every minute Lemon wants to come on the air. But let us hear what he has to say this evening. But before we get to Lemon, I want you guys to understand that oppressive regime understands one language, and that is boots on the ground, to confront them, to make things happen, to demand things from them. They're not going to respect you when you don't have boots on the ground, and then when you basically want to sit at the table, they're not going to respect you. You know how? You don't let them invite you to their table. You force them to come to your table. That is what you call strong politics. That is what you call boots on the ground. Any other thing, don't be fooled by some of these politicians. They want the easy way out. They want easy life. They want easy thing. That is what they want. So when you hear them and this excuses upon excuses, forget about them. Tell them that this time a long time, this not day before, that you understand them. Don't let them come with this mentally and intellectually lazy form of politicking. Tell them to shut up. I don't know. Let us see what is on Lemon's mind, man. Let us see what is on Lemon's mind. But before that, I hope Lemon can take this stuff off. Take this stuff off this stuff. Please. Lemon, I'm a bit upset this evening. If you don't take this boots off of the air, the boots belong on the ground. I'm telling you, Lemon, I'm not in the best of mood tonight. I may just fire you publicly. Please take it off the ground, or we'll just have no other choice but to fire Lemon. All right. Good evening, all of you. We have Lemon with us. Lemon, good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Speak up, please. Speak up.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Yeah,
Good
I got a
evening to
note.
all my
I
107.1 family.
I got your message, and your message read, the text message that you sent. Please let me come on the air for a couple minutes tonight. You're on the air. I'm giving you a couple of minutes. Talk whatever you want to talk.
You know, I'm back at work, and thank you. I wasn't feeling too well. I was kind of coughing, so I'm okay right now.
Lemon. You're Lemon. You're not supposed to get cough. We are not here for complaining. Oh, I had a little cough. Get straight to the point, Lemon. Get straight.
Yes. I just want to confront the regime, that what they're doing with the nurses. Want to change up the contract. What the nurses have with the exams, the midwives. So the nurses have to stand up, go and protest the regime. It's not right what they're doing. And soon I will get my own program on 107.1.
Not on this station, nope.
Yes, we will.
Nope. Go on Facebook. Go do like the MPs. Do like the opposition MPs. Them go and start your own Facebook live.
We have to be on the ground. We have to be on the ground.
And call that boots on the ground.
Facebook cannot work.
What is your take, Lemon, on boots on the ground? We're not seeing any boots. We're not even seeing slippers. We're not even seeing sandals. We're not seeing nothing on the ground. What is your take on that?
Those are lazy MPs. They have to go out. They have to go out there and fight. Go and fight. We want to see them there fighting. Chase those lagu babus out when they come into your neighborhood. Chase them out.
What else is bothering you, Lemon?
You know, a lot of things bother me. You know, the way, as I said before, the way the install regime treating the nurses with the exam. You know, when I write the exam, no other country won't recognize them, recognize the the exam.
Yeah.
They want the nurses to stay in the Guyana when they're not paying them enough. You have to pay the nurses.
They don't want to pay the nurses. You notice recently, Lemon, they have given what is it, $1 billion in fertilizer to free distribution to farmers. $1 billion. But yet they can't find money to pay the teachers properly. They can't find money to pay the nurses properly. They can't find money to pay the police properly. And in fact, the police now got to beg questionable business people to donate vehicles to the Guyana police force.
That is so wrong. That is so wrong with that. Why business people have to donate vehicle to the police forces? That's wrong. That's corruption. You're encouraging corruption.
All right, look, Lemon, you asked for just 5 minutes. You got 10 minutes so far. What's happening with this here? Aubrey Norton, the leader of the opposition, parked his vehicle outside of office of the president and walked in to go meet Irfan Ali.
Well,
what is your take on this meeting, sir?
It looks so embarrassing to me that Aubrey had to park his vehicle outside and walk into the compound. It's very embarrassing. I would not go. I would not go into the compound there.
Why wouldn't you have gone into the compound?
Well, they have to open the gate. That's a people house.
Open the gate for you.
Yes.
And park your vehicle inside.
Inside, yes.
Give you that sort of respect.
I'm the opposition leader.
Yeah.
They have to respect the opposition leader.
I agree with you. 100%. Open the gate, let him drive in, and let him park properly inside the compound that has been hijacked by Irfan Ali and their goons. I agree with you. But what is your take? Do you think that Mr. Norton came out of there with something good?
No, I don't think so. And I hope he don't bend to those guys. You know, I hope not.
All right. You hope he doesn't bend to those guys. We all hope that he doesn't bend to those guys. Anything else quickly before we go? We have J.R. Crawford is in the studio with us.
I'm gonna let you go ahead with the program, and I'm going to go back to start fixing the problem that everybody could enjoy the program. So, good night, JR. Good night, Mark. Good night.
Yeah. We got JR Crawford there already. JR, Lemon is telling you good night.
Yes, I told him good night.
All right.
Yeah.
Lemon, is there any question you want to ask JR before you go?
No, JR. JR would answer the questions for me. So, good night, everyone.
No. Before you go, you said you want your own show or whatever. Here's your opportunity to ask JR Crawford a question. Go right ahead.
Well, JR, it would be a good idea for me to get a good show. My own show,
All right, we got to go, Lemon, because if you continue with that, I'll fire you live on air.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
All right, Lemon. Lemon wants his own show. JR Crawford may want his own show. Let's get right into things. JR, what is your take here? Good night. What is your take on this guy? This guy is saying that it was justified to fire 300 workers at GWI, and we know the majority of those workers, their ethnicity, we know that is political spite and so forth. And now he's saying then that GWI, that is doing a horrible job since they have installed themselves into office, they have saved $240 million by terminating the services of over 300 persons. Your take on that, sir? Begin with.
Good night, everyone. Well, from listening to the people in Region 6. They're complaining about the water services. I saw quite a few um, public complaints. Also, I've heard a couple of people complain about the quality and the shortage of water. So right there and then, we're seeing that these things are not in the benefit of the people, because you're for some strange reason they are shorting the staffs and the service is going down. So it cannot be justified at saving $240 million when this is a major health concern. So I don't agree with with firing these people at this juncture. When we are dealing with all these health issues, we need to have everybody there to help us.
Precisely. But for some reason, we haven't been hearing much on that particular issue, as we haven't been hearing about a lot of other issues from those who are in the opposition, who should have boots on the ground, who should be aggressive in terms of their confrontation of the PPP installed regime. We're just not seeing that at all. Can you describe the water situation again, the level? Because I know you had said once on this program, on this radio station, that under the coalition, on the quarantine, you guys are getting water all the way upstairs. The shower was operating as though it was the Atlantic Ocean. What's the situation now?
Well, under the coalition, like we said, like I said back then, we were having great pressure, 24 hours water supply, and all these things. Now, after the current administration got into office, things changed the very next day. A matter of fact, the Monday and the Tuesday we had no water, right? And you're seeing a reduction in the services given to the people. And again, I can't understand why this administration cannot see the people as its greatest assets. And regardless of how you got into office, take care of the people. I mean, what is so hard for us not to care for each other? And again, these are health issues. These are, what is a necessity for us to keep ourselves clean, keep our surroundings clean as a nation. Here we are trying to attract foreign investors and trying to break into the tourism industry. And, our health focuses are not our priority. So, these are things that, it's kind of shocking. But, what else can we do? The only people to fix this will be the voters. They need to stop voting race, stop voting for an alliance or an old party, and go for someone that you can hold accountable and someone that you can demand attention and services, and you'll get it.
JR, I oftentimes hear this the description of this installed regime, and that for some reason some folks believe that they should continue governing the country regardless of how they've gotten into office. Now, and obviously they have, in my opinion, gotten into office until the court proves otherwise, I will say that they have gotten into office under questionable circumstances. And any regime, any party that gets into office under such questionable circumstances as the PPP regime did, then it is difficult for them to do what is good. It is impossible for them to do what is good. Everything will be surrounded either in secrecy or fraud. Fraud. Do not expect an illegitimate regime to do good for the people. Everything that we see them do, it's always this evidence there of rampant, massive corruption, whether it's the cash flood grant, whether it's the whatever cash grant, whether it's a COVID grant, whatever it is, corruption upon corruption upon corruption, and they're thieving hundreds of millions of dollars and putting it into their pockets. Now, let me say this before I give you back the mic. We have heard during the COVID cash grant, there were folks in particular communities, obviously communities that have voted overwhelmingly for the coalition. They weren't given, for the most part, COVID cash grants. However, they were given pink slips. And it is over 1 year now that this very illegal, this illegitimate, this installed regime promised that they are going to return and pay out people who were given pink slips. Now, I want you guys to understand, they have promised the people that. They have robbed the people. Pink slip, thousands of people are still to this day sitting at their doorsteps, sitting by their windows, waiting for this fraudulent government to return to give them their payments from that pink slip. Judge them by the pink slip, and then you'll understand how corrupt they are. But go ahead, Mr. Crawford.
Now that scenario there, that was total disrespect. And what alarmed me was these foreign dignitaries that are seen running around with this current administration. They were not, addressing these issues with them saying, this is an issue where it shows racism, it shows bias, and you guys need to, fix the situation by going out there using the flood relief the way it was supposed to be. Now, it makes me wonder that these people that we're seeing running around with the current administration, are they, what am I saying, totally biased, barefacedly to a certain denomination? Is it that they are afraid to talk to this current administration, or whatever the case may be? But what we are seeing is a total disrespect for a group of people who did not subscribe to a particular party. And here's where our representatives in parliament must be on the ball with this every single day of the week, because we are having people that are not being taken care of selectively, and now we're hearing the cash grant is over and nothing can be done. So where was the monies that was allocated for everybody when only a certain amount got it? Now, it makes us wonder. Now we're hearing fertilizers are going to be given for free to the hinterland community. Fine. But what happened to the folks on the coastline that lost so much? And mind you, many PPP people suffered losses and were not compensated too. So it is time now for us as a nation to come together and look ourselves in the mirror and say, wait, are we getting the bang for the buck by supporting, this party after so many years? No. So this is the time when you make the hard choice and you throw caution to the wind. There's a 50-50 chance that you may get something better or you may get more of the same. But you cannot know the fact unless you take the step. Here is a perfect opportunity as a nation for us to move away. But we are not seeing that total effort from the opposition now for us to build a base, expand the base, and to stand up and expose the shortcomings of this administration. We are seeing more of a forced response when people like you and I call them out, and then they run and they go there for a couple of days and then they disappear. This is not the way to represent people. Excuse me.
Take it easy.
So we are hoping. Well, I mustn't say hoping. It should be a must that the coalition all their representatives, regardless if you're parliamentarian or other elected officials. They need to get out there, listen to the people of every area, not only coalition stronghold, but in the Guyanese community. And we start to force the issue where all of us will benefit in some way positively from this administration until we either have the petition being heard and we have a definite from the court, or a new election, which we are hoping for something soon. But we can't have this lackadaisical attitude and people get in feelings when the common man is out there calling them out. The opposition not only represent the opposition supporters, they represent all Guyanese. So they need to get out there. They're part of the government. They may not have a say now because of whatever reason or vindictiveness of this current administration, but they must do their part. They must listen to the cries of the people, and these things can be documented, and also reach out to the international bodies to force a proper dialogue within the two forces. The people are the ones that are suffering. The elected politicians are going to be taken care of regardless of what it is.
You know, JR, let me say this. If we go back 10 shows, the message is the same. If we go back last week's show, the message is the same. Sitting, talking, sitting, talking. And people might be asking this question, and rightfully so. Forget about the politicians. We see that they're afraid. Forget about them and their flimsy excuses about being cautious and all these manner of dotishness. They're afraid. They don't want to be locked up. They don't want the handcuffs on their hands. They don't want to spend another 15 minutes or so at Brigham at the inquiry desk. Some don't want to go in the lockup. Some don't want to be jailed. They want sweetness. They want to enjoy the cookies, the sweetness. As back in the days under quarantine, there was something that called bullseye or mitai, the sweetness or fudge. They don't want anything else. So they're not going to go on the streets. They're not going to do these sort of things. Their definition of boots on the ground is on Saturday or Sunday when they go out to the market. They buy a couple pomegranate, they buy a couple soursop, bananas and stuff like that, and they take photographs and they put it up on social media. And they call that grounding with the people. We understand those members of parliament in the opposition, a lot of them, not all, are mentally and intellectually lazy and are politically incapable to take us to that next level. But the question is, what are you guys doing on the ground? What are the people in Region 6 doing, JR? You guys should take the bull by its horn. You guys should become the leaders, or should force those who are getting money, a salary, $250,000 every month under false pretense. Force them to act, JR. I'm tired of the talking all the time. I'm just tired of it, JR.
I hear your plight. Just remember, I have been calling them out, and I have become the enemy of many of the coalition leaders. Look, our supporters, many of them are loyal.
JR, stick a pin, please. This is just an information that just came in that this young man is missing out in Guyana. He's missing. His name is Nathan Daniels. He is missing. Got him a voice message from his brother, whoever his brother is saying that he wants this to be advertised. Please, his brother, this youngster's name is Nathan Daniels. Nathan Daniels is missing in Guyana. I don't know the exact village or wherever it is, but Nathan Daniels is missing. Please, if you see this young man, if you know where this young man is, just either report to the nearest police station or take this young man home. He is missing. Let us pray for a safe return of this young man. Nathan Daniels is missing in Guyana. Go ahead, Mr. Crawford. Sorry about that.
as I was saying, as it pertain to Region 6, if we were to start to go and do our work, one, we wouldn't be financially able to do certain things as a private citizen, and the communication with the coalition parties, they need to step up. If they know they're not capable of doing this thing, they need to come and reach out to people who are, who they think going to be assets to the society, and let us do it for them if they can. But again,
They're,
too
they're not.
many
They're
people
not.
have
They're not. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it.
their
Right.
egos.
They're not going to do it. And one
I
of the things
must,
they're
I
not going to
must.
do. Look. This guy. I don't know if he's related to Philip Bino or which one of the Binos. He's telling me stop it. Why don't I go on the ground? Hey, I've been there on the
No,
ground. Don't tell
see,
me why don't I go on the ground?
Mark,
The people.
that
One
is the
second. One
foolish.
second, Jr. The people elected their leaders to do that. To do just that. To do just that. Don't come to me with no Jim cock being ram goat, no nonsense, no foolishness, no stupidity, no baby talk to me. To tell me, Mark, why don't you go underground? Go underground to do what? To do what now? This is my ground. Y'all fight for leaders. Y'all fight for politicians. Y'all fight for members of parliament. Y'all taxpayers' money, paying them, goddammit. You tell them, let them go underground and represent you guys, represent your interest. I've been there in the sun, hot sun, sometimes all alone. I've been there. I've been there when it was raining, sometimes all alone. Cold concrete, ground, the floor, at Brickdam for days, Lagrange for days, Belmont for days, Barbies for days in filthy lockups. What are you asking me now? Ask your leaders, those whom you've been fighting for. All of y'all, ask y'all members of parliament. Find out who's your member of parliament for Weather Region 10. Ask them to go on the ground. Ask them to fight for you. Walk in Congress Place and tell them to fight for you instead of fighting amongst each other on WhatsApp group and on Facebook and all manner of things. Tell them to fight for you. I have been there, paid the price, and it wasn't an easy price. It wasn't easy at all. Been there. So don't tell me. I'm annoyed. Crawford, hold on. Don't say another word. Let me deal with this Bino. Let's ignore Bino. I just thought I'd remind Bino. Bino is a regular listener, but always with go underground, come underground, go underground, Mark. Crawford, continue, man. Sorry about that. The Binos are like that. I don't know if he is Philip Bino's brother, but if he is Philip Bino's brother, I can understand where he's coming from. But go ahead.
You see, the problem here in this country, too many times, we want somebody else to go and fight the battle for us. We are afraid to open our mouths. We are afraid to step outside of our yard to do whatever it is. And in your case, you have done so much, and it seems like the only way they're going to stop is if you are not around anymore. And it's a foolish idea. They should take from what you have done, and if something has to be tweaked, then use the same format and go forward. Now, people who are speaking out on a daily basis, they're not being appreciative of those people to point out the wrongs that are happening in society. And these are the things that is going to hold back a free democracy. Being afraid to say what's wrong and what is right, or give compliment if it's necessary. But coming back to Region 6, Region 6 really needs some attention because it's a large region, and we the coalition folks, only one MP is visible on a regular basis. If those that are assigned to this region for some strange reason they cannot fill the capacity, then either you reassign them or you recall them. Because not only is the coalition base being hurt, but the country's development is going to be hurt because we are not having proper scrutiny to stem what I must say, the fraudulent behavior in some areas. You know, you mentioned the flood relief. What about irrigation? What about schooling? These are things that, you know, we need to highlight certain issues, and we're not getting the proper coverage because our representatives are busy with other things. And that goes back to what I was always saying: an MP should only have an MP job when elected because it's a well-paid job. So you must have your employer's, you know, mandate at heart and not as a secondary option.
I got you loud and clear. But what are some of the sentiments expressed by the people on the ground? And I agree with you that we see very few MPs in the opposition who are visible. And I'm talking about visible on the ground, right? 90% of them are missing in action. God in heaven knows what they're up to. And I don't want any one of them to come and say that they're in some air conditioned office doing research and they're actually working. Mark, we're working. No, you're not working. Politics is you don't do work secretly. You do it publicly. Let the people see what you're doing. That is why you have been elected, to represent the people. And when you represent the people want to see that representation. So don't come with Jim Cockburn Ramgo's story that y'all working behind the scene and y'all doing this, and Ben Sharp or Crawford don't know what they're saying and all manner of things, that they get things under control. Well, y'all supporters don't think y'all have things under control. They don't. Crawford.
Well,
What's happening with the farmers, the fishermen are seeing hell on the quarantine and other places? I don't know.
Mark, listen, the cost of living is ridiculous at this junction. We know throughout the country. And, we're seeing these foreign delegates posing with some members of the current administration. And we're hearing that foreign delegates are visiting, the coalition, some of them. But look, I'm not seeing anybody who is addressing the needs of the people. Yes, we had COVID for 2 years. Then now they have the Ukraine war, and it's affecting the whole world economically. We need to get, put things in place for all of Guyana. We're everything we turn around, we are having freebies for this community, and this has been left back. It shows the biasness. Now, as Guyanese, there are a couple of incidents that we can learn from. When you look at Sri Lanka's situation, and not a bullet being fired, but they're getting gradually what they require, as to having ministers step down who are corrupt and who are not, who are running the country bankrupt. Ukraine is standing up to a bully with whatever little they have. And, Haiti has taught us this in the past in 1803 against the French. So this is the time now we have to take our freedom and our survival in our hands. We cannot wait on a foreign entity with these fraudulent promises about, oh, everything is going to be good, we are going to change government. No, I don't believe in it. I want to see us make the move and force the international bodies who are here or who are also complicit in the 2020 election to step up and do the right thing for the people of Guyana. We are becoming a rich nation on paper, and our citizens are becoming poorer and poorer.
Beggars. I apologize to all, because that's just a true description of them. Our teachers are not being paid. Nurses are not being paid properly. Policemen, women not being paid properly. All manner, even our firemen and women. All manner of things, Mr. Crawford. Look, this youngster, well, he looks like a youngster. One Anthony. I almost say one Edgil. But One Anthony is saying here the opposition went to New York to protest and refused to protest at home. Well, they made all manner of excuses why they're not protesting at home. And then they jump on a plane, nice, sit down in a plane and air conditioned now, and they looked around and they were probably looking to see if anybody recognized them. And then they go all the way to Brooklyn, boogie down. Well, Brooklyn, right? Brooklyn. And they pompozette, as we would say, in the streets, pompozette. For those upper T people who don't know what pompozette means, it means that they show off. Boots on the ground, they can do this, they can do that. Boots on the ground, they're not backing down. And these very people who got all that mouth when they were in Brooklyn, all the mouth, showing up, talking up, just for the camera, hyping up the people. What are they doing back in Guyana? Some of them are just going on social media, on Facebook, and talk and do up themselves. And that's all they do. No representation. I got to call MP Annette Ferguson. She promised that she was going to go to Linden to find out what's going on with those people who are going through hell because of the PPP bulldozing their homes and their farmlands and stuff. MP Annette Ferguson said, Mark, I will go to Linden by this weekend. Well, tomorrow is Wednesday. Weekend done, gone, another weekend coming again. Look, man, I am sick and I am tired of most of these MPs who are lazy mentally, intellectually, and maybe otherwise. I'm just tired. I am sick and I'm tired of them, J.R. Crawford. Continue, man.
Mark, you know something what is really, really hurtful? Everyone around the world hold Mother's Day, even though it's not a national holiday, but it's a sacred day that where we honor our mothers. And to see on Mother's Day what transpired in Linden, and not a single word from the international dignitaries in this country. You're telling me with the advent of social media that they are not aware of this heinous behavior? How are we going to, progress as a nation and heal and move forward if we are destroying homes on a Mother Day celebration? I mean, what does that show the general public, or even to this international admirers of this administration, that no one has respect for family values or family itself? These things are disturbing. And after that, we are seeing photo ops with international bigs, and nobody cares about people being displaced. Things could have been done differently, even if you want someone to move. You don't just go and take a machine and knock people's hard-earned dollar down. But we are not seeing the international people coming out and saying, hey, this is not the way to move these people. If you want them to move, make preparation for them to move from in the morning, and in the afternoon they'll have somewhere to go. But what this tells me, that these very international bigs that are sitting here in this country have total disrespect for a particular ethnic group in this country.
Crawford, I'll tell you this.
To be pointed out,
people sit and they depend on these folks, these diplomats, and what they say and what they think and how the country should be and how the people should think and what the people should do, whether the people should protest or don't protest. They want a quiet country, because the more the country remains as quiet as it is, and the more that they can control those leaders who should make a difference in confronting the illegitimate and installed PPP regime, the more they can control them with sweet lies upon lies, so that their sojourn to Guyana could be a nice and a peaceful sojourn, and they get their friends and everybody getting a piece of the oil deal and the oil wealth. That is what it's about. Because if those who promise boots on the ground and are not delivering right now, and they're not going to deliver boots on the ground to the people, right? If those people bring boots on the ground, then the foreign diplomats will be uncomfortable with that. They will be uncomfortable because it is the kind of change that the people will be demanding. They can't sit and wait for an American ambassador, Canadian ambassador, EU ambassador, or whomever is ambassador to make that change. They can contribute, yes, but they're not the ones to effect those changes. It's the people on the ground, and they cannot control the leaders who ought to ensure that they take their support base on the ground with boots. It is not going to happen. We're not, look, people have been fooled. In my mind, people have been fooled. People have been taken for granted. All manner of excuses why boots is not going to be on the ground. They're not going to have boots on the ground. All manner of the excuses upon excuses. Everybody wants to be nice. They want to talk nice. They want to sound nice. They want to be politically correct. They want to come across as a statesman. All manner of things. But at the end of the day, there are some times in politics, you got to take your tie off. You got to take your shirt off. You got to put your boots on. You got to hit the streets and confront an oppressive regime. Do not wait for the folks in Washington to do that. Do not wait for the folks in Quebec to do that. Do not wait for the folks in Lot 10 in London there to do that. Do not wait. It is not going to happen. It is not. J.R. Crawford, I am sick and I am tired of the excuses, my friend. We're looking at the time. Go ahead.
Look, my desire is to see that these coalition folks who are elected and also the CC members, they need to get on the ground, get to the people, talk to the people, hear their plight, bring that out there to the public. These very international bodies who are running around selectively, is either you're going to listen to everybody else, or you're not going to be, you're going to ask them to be recalled, because they cannot be biased in our country, causing division, causing suffering, causing an economic disadvantage. I mean, how are we going to grow as a nation completely? Why is it only a limited amount of people are allowed to blossom, regardless of fear or foul means, when 90% of the people are suffering? And we are home to CARICOM Secretariat, and being a member of CARICOM, it's a security blanket for certain basic amenities. We are not seeing that. What are these people doing that seeing Guyana has become the next Haiti, where we are all suffering and we have so much, yet we have so little? I don't understand why we must take this subservient behavior and live with it. We can't.
I don't know, JR. I just don't know. But I'll wait. Let's see. We're seeing. Look, whoever Francine is. Let's see what Francine is saying. Good evening to you, Francine. Whoever Francine is. Francine makes some very provocative points at times. She's back again tonight. Let's hear Francine. They can't put boots on the ground because they think they are better than the people. Wait, Francine? Welcome back, Francine. Francine is saying they are not grounded with the people. They are not keeping meetings with the people. So what do you expect? Francine, I agree with you 100%. They are not grounding with the people. They're too much up there. They want to wear their fancy this, fancy suit, fancy shoes. Some of them move from yachting boots, beat up old boots, beat up bicycle, all manner of things, right? They get air-conditioned mentality right now, right? And they want to, sip whatever they're sipping, all manner of things they want to do on Facebook, right? Facebook, they want to fight this battle. They're not going to win this battle by Facebook. They got to take off their makeup. They got to lose down their hair. They got to take off their suit, their tie, their blazer, their jacket, and they got to hit the streets. They got to go to the street corners. They got to go and talk to the people in Buxton, in Linden. Look at what the PPP install regime is doing. They're roaming through Linden. And the people in Linden are not saying, get out of there. We don't want you. Whatever is happening. Wake up, opposition. Now is not time for just press conference and all 1.5, 2 hours talking at press conferences, We already know what the problems are. Help us fix it. Get the union leaders, Patrick Yard, fast asleep, probably snoring by now, fast asleep. Not a word from Patrick Yard, not a word from the other union leaders in terms of confronting this illegitimate, this illegal, this installed regime. Of course, I've got to say kudos to Lincoln Lewis, right? But I feel that Lincoln should bring his members out. But Lincoln is the only one that is brave enough to constantly bang away at these vagabonds in office. But all the other union leaders, like they take pay, they're sleeping, they can't send nothing. Their tail gone till up underneath their legs. Go ahead, JR. JR, before you go ahead, I am sick and I'm tired of the opposition MPs. I'm sick and I'm tired of them. Continue, sir.
Mark, with that said, at this juncture, I would hope that Aubrey, as the leader of the opposition now, have meaningful conversation with the other leaders and recall some of the MPs that are not doing what they're supposed to do. Also, once he gets that done, he will submit the names that to be recalled, and they will be done via Mr. Granger. Also, I think that the coalition needs to get some of the old stalwarts that was there to come back and help the younger ones who think they know it all to get out there, get to the people, school them on how it's done. And, we cannot eliminate a Van West Charles, a Basil Williams, and yes, some of you guys may hate David Granger, but, at the end of it all, he would be vindicated. There are people out there who has a lot to give to this party, who could bring clarity and awareness to the people who do support it and the people who would want to support the coalition. We have to stop being threatened by position or by other people and go there, seek the help of others. Don't be afraid to ask for help. This is bigger than each of us. Look, you and I both know that the current leader of the opposition and I don't see things on the same angle. But, down the road, I may be forced to help in other ways that, if I see that they're not able to penetrate, I will do it on my own.
I got what you're saying. The picture is bigger than Aubrey, it's bigger than you, it's bigger than me. I understand
Right.
what you're saying, that we all should put differences aside and work with the best interest to see the back of the PPP regime, right? But I say this, sometimes when you knock at somebody's door and they shut that door on you, they squeeze up your fingers, they feel they know it all, they can do everything. They have the best set of people around them. When people on the outside are saying that, for the most part, you have a bunch of incompetent people around you who can't take
Mark.
you to the next, who can take you to the next level. But let me deal with this person quickly, because tonight, Adana abusing mood tonight. This guy with no photograph on, we gotta. It's not like we disagree with him, because I don't know if this is somebody from Congress Place or whatever. I don't like to respond to people, especially with ridiculous things, right? You want the best for the opposition, but this is what Bino, I don't know if he's Philip Bino's brother or son or whatever. Here he is again with BS. Mark, stop it. You are only destroying the coalition with your ranting. You see, that's the problem with these people. These invisible individuals, that is the problem with them. Boots on the ground is empty rhetoric. You can tell this is somebody from Congress Place, right? That's all he or she has been thinking all night.
You
Every
see,
time we try to be objective and to tell these guys in the opposition to do more, to get out there, to confront. Hey, Mark, stop it. You're only destroying the coalition. The coalition destroying themselves. They're the ones
right.
who are doing it.
And
Bino
here,
or Lilo or whoever you be. Stop with the nonsense. You sound as though like one of those individuals who would grab a glass of Kool-Aid and drink it without asking what is inside. Gosh.
these guys can't take
Oh,
constructive
oh,
criticism, and
oh.
they run. Their egos get hurt very easily, but they don't stop to think
Not just the ego, something else get bruised in meanwhile, but go ahead.
that too. But they don't want to be corrected. They think they know it all. If they had known it all, they would have been out there. They would have been in leadership position, running the country. You know,
Rondelaine is correct. They just don't care. They just don't give a damn.
they're all self-serving. Many of them that are elected or selected for this position, and this is where Aubrey Norton has to make some serious choices. Whatever you put in place, if it's not working, do not stay with it. You have to make hard choices, move people out that are not effective. This is not a game of chess. We are against the time. People's lives are at stake. We are losing millions of billions of dollars out there in the Atlantic Ocean. Our agriculture program is not, we are having a lot of talk, but we're not seeing the progress. Everybody is talking about hemp, hemp, hemp. Nobody's talking about cash crops. You understand what I'm saying?
Someone has a solution, but we really have to go, Mr. Crawford. Someone has a solution. This is a different Eon. This is an Eon with sense. Not that other one with no photograph, probably Philip Bino, brother named Eon Bino. But this is an Eon with sense. Eon Williams, good evening, my friend. Here's what Eon is saying. And not because he disagrees, he's saying things that we're saying. The other Eon Bino, he's not putting forward a counter argument. He's just talking Congress place kind of talk, right? But Williams is saying here, Mark, don't worry with union leaders and the opposition. All we have to do is hire a big truck and get Dexter Daps on the road. You would shock to see the crowd. Dexter Dapp or this other guy that sing every gal want to walk off, whatever his name is. Every gal want to walk off. Gully Bop, right? Gully Bop and Dexter Bops. And you probably get you get Terry Gadraj, and oh gosh, you go see the streets. I go see the streets. All right. But on a serious note, man, we every gal want to Gully Bop, bop. That's the kind of politics. It's jokey politics, man. Honorable, I see some folks are talking. Hey, I don't know what to say other than I'm sick and tired and fed up of these guys, man. Bop.
Mark, I must point out.
Before you go, let me make this announcement again. This youngster is missing. His name is Nathan Daniels, lot 2051, under meaning West Bank, Demerara. He attends Potentia High School or secondary school, same thing. He's age 15. He's missing. His name is Nathan Daniels. He's missing. Please, let us pray for the safe return of this young man. All right? Good. Mr. Crawford, you were saying before we go, sir.
I must mention this, that I think that the opposition leader has finally started to come to terms with what we were saying. I was told that there is supposed to be 2 walkabouts in Region 6 this week. So I'm hoping that this is a start of where he starts to listen outside of the circle and to do the right thing as a leader. Go out to every Guyanese community. Don't be afraid if it's a red or it's a green area. We're all Guyanese. We're all having problems. We're all meeting hardship, and we're all looking for a better leader. and leaders to make Guyana a better place, so we as citizens can have a proper life rather than watching the oppression on a yearly basis, which eventually is gonna make us become very hostile to each other. So I'm hoping what I heard, that is the start of things to come.
All right, Mr. Crawford. I thank you as often for your time. We've got to pray for the country. We've got to pray for those who are in the opposition. I think every leader means well, right? Every leader in the PNC I'm talking about, every leader, PNC leader, they mean well. But there are times when some of these leaders are surrounded, basically, for the most part, by square pegs in wrong hole, right? And flat-foot hustlers. And oftentimes it's difficult for that leader to get to the next level where they need to be. Now, there's no doubt in my mind that Aubrey Compton Norton doesn't mean well. He means well. He wants to do well. There are people out there who want to support him, who want to embrace him, who want to help him. And if Mr. Norton is listening this evening, well, then he must able to sit down and do some introspections this evening and understand that he can't do it all. He doesn't know it all. Seriously, he doesn't know it all, right? And that in order to get to the next level, he must be surrounded, for the most part, by competent individuals who can get that job done for him. If he doesn't, then he's going to have to run all over the place all by himself. That's all I'm saying. Your closing remarks, sir.
You're on point there, Miss. I hope Mr. Norton remembers the saying: "You're only as strong as your weakest link on the chain." Now, with that said, he needs to start to look at his supporting cast. If you have received enough negatives about individuals that are supposed to be, in leadership roles, it is time for you to do some house cleaning. This is not about friendship. This is not about buddyism. This is about putting Guyana on a path to where we can have respectability and proper security. As a nation, we are suffering terribly at the hands of those that were being installed by the international forces. Those very forces are coming now with these crocodile conversations. We don't want to hear that. What we want is a better Guyana for all of us, regardless of which party we support or what church we go to. And we're not seeing the effort from this administration. And like you said earlier in the program, we can't see the effort because of the general concept of how they got there in the first place. So now, this is the perfect opportunity for Aubrey Norton to mature as a true leader of the people. Forget about all the talk that was there for years. This is now you throw the talk out and let's get on the ground. Show the people that the Aubrey Norton that was pegged all along, this is the man for the job. Regardless if he has difference with anybody or who ran against him, he needs to go out there back to some of the statesperson, bring them back in full, have them be on the ground. All of us need to work our little bits to make this country a better place and to, put it back to where it was going prior to 2020 March. Because if we don't, by the time we get our freedom back, we won't have any resources left. This country is gone on a high gear to nowhere, and none of the benefits are coming back to the people. It's only a selective few, and this is not right. So if Aubrey is listening, it's time for him to reach out to the big ones that they may have disagreements with. Put the people, put the party, everything above our disagreements as individuals, and go out there for the best of Guyana.
All right, well said, J.R. Crawford. Thank you so much. Give my regards to all up there in the quarantine, and especially my good friend Hardawar Haridat, aka Karaila from the back street there, Baghdad Street. by Alnis Coca. If he comes by you tomorrow, tap him up there. Tell him compliments of me. But JR, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time this evening. And thank you so much for grounding with the people there on the quarantine, especially the rice farmers and others. You do it. I hope to see some of those opposition MPs go out there, get out of their offices. Facebook is not every minute you run live on Facebook to report. That's not your job. Your job is to run live on the ground. I'm not saying that there are times when they cannot be on Facebook. Of course they can. But they spend most of their time on Facebook and less time, if at all any, on the ground. Thank you, Mr. Crawford. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Good night.
And to all of our listeners, I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully with Tom Anderson. Tom Anderson tomorrow, where we will have Boots on Facebook, Boots on 107.1 FM. But for now, have a great rest of the evening, and God bless you. And remember, this young man is missing, Mr. Daniels. He's missing. Young Daniels is missing. His mother wants him returned. Pray for a safe return of this young man. I'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time, right here on 107.1 FM. Thanks, all of you guys, for tuning in this evening. So long.
Here anti-best, here anti-best, here anti-best, Allah. 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 For the morning cock and crow, here anti-best, Allah. I see your bundle, there we go, here anti-best, Allah. For the morning cock and crow, here anti-best, Allah. I see your bundle, there we go, here anti-best, Allah. Here anti-best, here anti-best, here anti-best, Allah. Here anti-best, here anti-best, here anti-best, Allah. Washa Allah, washa Allah, washa Allah fa. Yesha Allah, yesha Allah, here anti-best, Allah. Washa Allah, washa Allah, washa Allah fa. Yesha Allah, yesha Allah, here anti-best, Allah. I feel like a morning star. 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 Here anti-best, here anti-best, here anti-best, Allah. Here anti-best, here anti-best, here anti-best, Allah. Here anti-best, here anti-best, here anti-best, Allah. Here anti-best. Here anti-best, here anti-best, here anti-best, Allah. 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 For the morning cock and crow, here anti-best, Allah. I see your bundle, there we go, here anti-best, Allah. For the morning cock and crow, here anti-best, Allah. I see your bundle, there we go, here anti-best, Allah. Here anti-best, here anti-best, here anti-best, Allah. Here anti-best, here anti-best, here anti-best, Allah. Washa Allah, washa Allah, washa Allah fa. Yesha Allah, yesha Allah, here anti-best, Allah. Washa Allah, washa Allah, washa Allah fa. Yesha Allah, yesha Allah, here anti-best, Allah. I feel like a morning star. 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 Here anti-best, here anti-best, here anti-best, Allah.
gas raise up and the grocery raise up. I think the government could do something about that because people taking a raise up top dog, you don't know. That all what I have to say. They should really do something about that.
Right about now, I'm living in Guyana right about now. I am in Guyana no more. I think I will go and get me visa and I go fly out and I go to Bormis and I go relax myself because I am in Guyana no more. I am in Guyana. I gotta go Bormis. I fly now go Bormis. Things cheap there.
So, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington law firm located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you, so call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.